Ladies and gentlemen, this is your County of Hawaii administrative team, Mayor Alameda's administrative team. And we'll do some introductions as we go. But for now, what I'd like to do is turn the mic over to our mayor, Mayor Kimo Alameda.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Bill. Bill Brahant is our managing director. Thank you, Bill. Appreciate it. My deputy managing director is Merrick Nishimoto. He's from Kona, so he kind of helps us with the Kona side. Thank you, Merrick. So, in looking for a managing director and deputy, first I look for geographic balance. Merrick's from Kona, Bill's from Hilo side. But I also look for areas of expertise. And so Bill comes with a lot of expertise, HR director, corp counsel, firefighter, and around, how much mayors use under Bill? About 5. He has under 5 mayors, so comes with a lot of experience. And so I'm very happy that he said yes to my call. And then Merrick is our, kind of an engineer. He was the deputy director on the public works. And we knew each other from our response to the lava in 2018. So here's your team. Some of them are holdovers from the last administration because they're good. If they're good, we're keeping them. Okay? And so I'd like to, if they can introduce themselves, and then we can pass the mic down and we can go that way.
I'm Ben Moskowitz. I'm the Chief of Police for Hawaii County.
Good evening, Talmadge Magno, Civil Defense Administrator.
Hi, I'm Summer Tokihiro, Director of Human Resources.
Aloha, I'm Jeff Darrow with the Planning Department.
Hi, Keith Okamoto, Manager, Department of Water Supply.
Matt Reynolds, Administrator for Animal Control.
Good evening, Zach Burgum, Mass Transit Agency.
Good evening, Diane Nakagawa, Finance.
Craig Kawaguchi, DEM, Environmental Management.
Clayton Honma, Parks and Recreations.
Aloha, Merrick Nishimoto, Deputy Managing Director, Kona Mayor's Office.
Hello again, Bill Brahanti, Managing Director. One thing I failed to do was I failed to recognize the Hilo YMCA for providing all the treats for this evening. So let's thank Martha and Wendy Botello with the YMCA. Thank you very much.
I'm Hugh Ono. I'm the most senior member in the County of Hawaii employee list, but I am the Director of the Department of Public Works. Thank you.
Kazuo Todd, Fire Chief for the Hawaii Fire Department.
Renee Schoen, Corporation Counsel.
Jay Yoshiburo, Assistant Corporation Counsel.
Aloha, Kea'au Costa, Office of Housing.
Corey Stone with Department of Information Technology.
Aloha, everyone. I'm Benson Medina. I'm with Department of Research and Development.
Aloha, Laura Acasio, Office of Sustainability, Climate, Equity, and Resilience.
Good evening, Neil Azevedo, Deputy Director of Public Works.
All right, thank you. We have some special guests, so I want to go share our special guests. Jen?
Aloha, thank you. Jen Kagiwara, District 2 here on the County Council.
Thank you, Mayor. Heather Kimball, District 1, County Council.
Fantastic. Is there any people from the House, or from the Senate, or from Congress? No, it's okay. All right. So how this is going to go, first I want to, first year is, I want you to know how we look like, number one. On the campaign, I had over, 80 talk stories. I've been in almost every community, so I kind of got a good sense of what community needs from District 1 all the way to District 9. And then we got elected, put our team together. We had our third cabinet meeting, so even as a team, I feel like we're gelling. We got a good handle on what each department is responsible for. And every cabinet meeting, we've been trying to figure out, how to get some action items on our 100-day plan. So I asked them, I said, hey, we get 100 days to do 100 things. So get 20 departments. I asked them to, give me 3 action items that we could put in this 100-day plan. And so 20 departments times 3, that's 60 things. I added 40. So now we get 100 things in 100 days. And at the last cabinet meeting, we was a little over 50% on completing those 100 things. And so every Friday, some of the shout outs that we have on Instagram, Facebook, because I made a pledge to communicate to you folks on what we're doing. And because as a constituent, prior administrations, I want to know. So if I want to know, I'm sure you want to know too. So every Friday, if you log on to our Facebook or Instagram, you'll see an update, and many of those updates are part of their action plan. So I'm really impressed with this team. I feel like, it's the best of both worlds, and we're really gelling because it's the team that makes it work. So, and I get a big round of applause for these wonderful cabinet members. And so if you have questions, right, and you have many, some of you guys get statements. Okay, so how this is going to play out is you get 45 minutes, and then it's an hour and a half, okay? So we will discuss for 45 minutes, and then the last half hour, you can pick which director you'd want to talk to. So if you talk about roads, you get Neil Azevedo and Hugh Ono. If you talk about sustainability, maybe talk about the environment, some of your concerns, you get Laura Acasio. If you talk about economic sustainability, you get Benson as the director, get Dennis as the deputy. You talk about fire, you get our chief over here. Talk about police, you get our chief over here. So I wanted to leave half hour at the end for you just to catch us. You want to talk to me, I'm available too. Okay, but for the first 40 minutes, it's basically a Q&A. And so I just wanted to get, and like I said, some of you guys are going to be giving statements. You no more question, you're just here to make a statement. Maybe you're here to call one of us out. It's a public meeting, right? So it's always, we got to be ready for that. If it turns into an argument or, we just kind of get you guys kind of settled, then I'll just break it and we'll just go into individual sessions. Because sometimes an audience brings out different personalities and it's better one-on-one. Okay, so I get to be the judge of that. So if you got a theory or if you got or something has happened in the past that you want it to be resolved in this group, and I feel like it's better offline, then I might just say, let's take it offline. And then we got to move on. Okay, so I'm not here to get into any big arguments, all right, which is like the first year. We're in about 60 days now. We're just here to meet you, to meet us, see my style. But of course, we want to hear why you came. You spent money, you paid for gas, you got ready. So, okay, so what we're going to do is I'll just go, we'll go from here, one question here, one question there, or one question there, one question here, one question there, and we just keep going until I feel like, time's up, kind of, and then we'll turn it over to the one-on-ones. Okay, so again, let's start here. Anybody has a question or a comment? So let me ask you, statement or question? Okay, go, Julie. Tell us your name and what district.
I'm not sure what district.
Oh, okay, where you live?
Right by the police station.
Police station, okay. Okay, gotcha.
So I'm just curious, what is the plan for the cats on Banyan Drive?
The cats on Banyan Drive.
Because several times now I've driven by, people are feeding them, and there's always food left out for them right by where the nenes are supposed to be having their nests, and also then in the back by the ice cream shop.
Okay.
So how are we taking care of them? Because they're getting worse.
I love that.
People are still feeding them.
Okay, thank you. Julie asked the question, what are we going to do with the cats on Banyan Drive? Okay, plus get the nene, right? And cats can be, this cats and nene, they don't get along. So, okay, so I want to introduce Matt, Animal Control, and know this, that, some of these departments are brand new, pretty much. Animal Control has come into the county, and they're finally getting, their feet under them, and we're trying to hire and all. And sustainability is super brand new. Laura just got kind of like confirmed today, actually. So, good job, Laura. Okay, so Matt, you like to tackle that one? Tell us about the cats in Banyan Drive.
Okay, so currently we are working on a project to try to solve some of the problems with not just the cats on Banyan Drive, but overall throughout the island. Right now, with the project on Banyan Drive, we're trying to work with lots of organizations, council members, DLNR. When it comes to working around the nene, there are a ton of restrictions. And so when it comes to the cats, we're trying to tread on both sides of the line. We're trying to make everyone happy, which is virtually impossible, but working on a project that can solve the problem over a long period of time without impacting the nene as much as we possibly can. The problem is that the feeding has gone on for so long that it has made an impact on the nene over the span of their life. And so they're habituated to people feeding the cats, and they come in to eat the same food. And so with that, anything you do with the cats has an impact on the nene, and DLNR is all over it. So we're trying to work on a project that can solve that problem down there, but not just that, but also to duplicate that in other areas of the county, transfer stations, all sorts of areas that unfortunately have a high impact with cats, but also not to make it to where we're, the cat population is one that it's a very passionate, movement throughout the island. There are very passionate people when it comes to any animal issue, and so working with those problems without, making everyone unhappy is our goal, but also to solve the problem, which can be difficult at times.
So we have a task force, so we have 5 task force. Okay, so as soon as I came in, I found 5 big issues that I cannot handle or fix by ourselves. We're gonna need everybody. So animal control is 1 task force. We had 2 meetings already, because you get goats, pigs, cats, dogs. So goats, pigs, goats, we met with DLNR and the state and the feds, because it's a big safety issue. I don't know how many of you guys took out a goat on sheep. Yeah, so, right? And your car all boss and the goats no more insurance. So that means that's us, right? So those are the 4 big issues. And animal control right now, we need help. We need help from these other agencies. So that has come up in our task force, and we're going to be addressing that. So animal control is 1 task force. The other one is the cesspool conversion, because that's going to be big. We're going to need a lot of smart minds around that, sustainability. We're bringing in folks from UH. We're bringing in some feds, folks from the feds, because we're going to need grant money for that. The other big task force is permitting. So you're going to see your permits, if you're putting in permits, if you're a contractor or homeowner, builder, you're going to see your permits coming out much faster because of the strategies that Public Works and Planning Department are implementing currently. Okay, the other big task force is housing the homeless. So, we're the Salvation Army, that place, the one with the white picket fence, you cannot move homeless if there's no place to move them to. So Hilo, we found some place. Kona needs a place as well. And so we're trying to tackle it island-wide. And the last task force is HR. So we have over 600 vacancies. So each of these task force, they got their marching orders, and we're trying to solve problems in that way. So on this group, I'm gonna, you came for something. I see something written, so I'm gonna have you make your statement and make sure that, and we'll go from there.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all. This is actually directed towards Keldon Walton, but of course he is not here tonight. This is a really crazy thing that I've been dealing with. So when my little girl was almost 3 years old, her mother, and this is all true, I've got documentation which Keldon has. So when she was almost 3 years old, my little girl's mother actually videotaped her completely naked, front and back, and according to the eyewitness was zooming in on her genitals and her rear end. I brought this to the attention of our police department, who was great, honestly. Everyone's been great, very great. But Keldon will not file any kind of charges against this person, and that is why I'm here. Keldon's office did not subpoena her email, her social media, her iCloud, nothing. Basically nothing was done. She told the folks at CPS that this friend, or this person that she sent this video of my daughter to in California was a good friend of hers. And he existed nowhere on her social media. They didn't look into this, and I don't know what else to do. I've got a poster that I made that I've been standing for the last 2 weeks out in front of Keldon's office every morning for a couple of hours trying to raise awareness, because this man is elected, And I just want people to know that if it can happen to my daughter, it can happen to anybody, any child that you guys have in your life. I mean, I've talked to cops about this. Again, they've all been great. CPS asked her to give them a copy of this video. It was supposedly innocent, but she deleted it. And according to the police that I've spoken to, that could constitute destruction of evidence. No charges filed. So that's why I'm here. I'm in a custody battle with this woman right now, but until that is all said and done, I'm deeply concerned about my daughter's emotional and physical safety in the meantime. So as a father, I am just doing whatever I can, and I'm basically at my wit's end. It's like it's come down to holding a poster in front of his office to try to get people to at least know what's going on. If no action can be taken, at least people can be made aware. So that's why I'm here, and thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry. That one.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Here, question, statement? Is that a question or a statement?
It's a statement and a question. All right, the statement part goes like this. I moved from Puna, where I lived for many years, and I'm in the Mo'uli Senior Residence now, a very nice complex. Thank you for finally building it. You need a bunch more, but I suppose we'll get there someday. Out in front, the seniors have to go out in front and stand on the main highway in full traffic, rain or shine, no shelter, to get the bus. Now, I don't even take the bus. I have a car, and I can drive my car, but let me tell you, when that 911 center opens, what do you call it, that center there you're building?
Call center.
The call center. That traffic is going to be so bad in that corner that I am terrified even now that am I going to be able to pull out, put a light there, break down and put a light and put a bus shelter, please, Department of Transportation person. Whoever it was before you promised to put the shelter there, it still hasn't happened. All right, these are old people. They're in wheelchairs, some of them. They have canes. Why should they be standing out there with no shelter? This should be part of the planning process. When you plan these places, all the services should be ready to be plugged in to the facility. So get on board to reality.
Thank you. Let me ask, Zach, any plans on that bus stop, or you know where she's referencing?
Yeah, Zach Berg, Mass Transit. What's your name again? Toby Hazel. Maybe after this too, we could, talk story a little bit about. Absolutely, I would definitely look forward to that. But we are in the next phase of looking at bus shelter improvements, and we're working with. Okay, understandable. But yeah, if you wouldn't mind, we can talk story after this about that. Thank you, Toby.
This is awesome. You guys helping me do supervision. See, I don't got to meet now. How about back here? Question, statement. Okay, coming back here. Come on, Debbie.
Aloha. Aloha, my name's Debbie Ward. I'm concerned about a proposal I've recently heard about from Waikōloa Water, where they plan to bring in about 52 million pounds of plastic and recycle them into recycled plastic bottles, but there will be somewhere between 9 and 30% sludge produced, which leads me to ask the question, how is the public going to know more about this project, especially about air pollution, water pollution, landfill capacity, traffic studies, all the things that go along with that? And I understand that they may only have one permit left, so I think the public deserves a chance to find out more about this project before it actually gets permitted. Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie. Yeah, so they presented to us. They had a presentation, and so this is where, Laura Ocasio, our sustainability director, she has also concerns. We talked about it. And so, in fact, we have a meeting coming up soon on Friday, to talk more about her concerns and some science, and we're going to put that all together. And then, so we're kind of in the middle of that right now. And then we're going to talk to Waikōloa Water and see if they can answer our questions and kind of play it out like that. But I like the idea of recycling. I was sharing how, there was at one point my kids were all big into recycling. If you go to my house, you'll see these cages and you'll see all the plastics and all, and they would take it down and so. But I need to learn more about where recycling is at. I know we have a big reuse, reduce, recycle. It's part of the county's environmental management plan. So I have some questions, and so does Laura, and we talked about it, and so that's something that we'll be addressing, and we can keep in contact with you. I'm sure Laura can also share her concerns too. So you want to share?
I'll just share a little bit. Today, I did speak with Department of Health specifically around what state permits are needed, and I learned that the the Hawaii Administrative Rules for Department of Health that deals with this was created in 1996, which is much prior to us knowing about emerging pollutants of nanoplastic, microplastic, and PFAS and all the other aspects of what we're dealing with in our environment. So that's something, and I do know that there is a process through the state that we will be tracking, but mostly because due diligence for our county is imperative. We have to know, for example, the proposal is to bring all of the PET, all the PET, so high five water bottles from all of the islands to Hilo and for a plant in Shipman Industrial. That, again, it's in the process. We have to look at what kind of impacts. I was just speaking with our interim chief of waste management earlier today, and recognizing that we already have so many issues that we need to address. And in doing so, we then absolutely need to take into consideration what kind of cost this will be for our county on our waste management system, not to mention other environmental issues. Wastewater, Clean Air Branch has to look at things. So I feel very confident in being able to be meeting with the mayor and working through some of these issues with all the other departments. But thank you, that's a great question. I think it's important for people to know.
Thank you. Hey, I see Holeka Inaba. Holeka, chairman of the county council from Kona, District 8. District 8, thank you, Holeka. Thank you for being here. You know, that means you have to drive all the way from Kona. I love that. Again, if anybody else from the House or Senate comes in, please let me know. Because the mayor's office and the county is just one aspect of making a decision. Yeah, you get 9 county council members, they weigh in. And then if it's a state issue, state road, then you get the House and the Senate folks on our island, they weigh in. If it's on federal, like a national park or the post office in Hamakua, people say, oh, Kimono can get out. I'm like, oh, that's on post office. I don't know if I can help. But, that's federal. So that's why everybody important. That's why they're all invited. But, only some show up. So that's okay. How about this side? Back to this side. Question or statement? Anybody? Okay, we're going to... No, so here's the rule. You can only ask your second question until everybody else gets a chance to ask their first question. So that means we got to pass. Art?
Okay, thanks, Kimo. My name is Art Roberts, and I'm here tonight as a representative of the animal enrichment team out at the zoo. And pardon my appearance, but we were volunteering out there today working with the animals. So this is what we look like when we work out there. We had all heard that you had somehow either canceled or postponed charging admission at the zoo. I sat down and wrote a letter which was published in the Herald Tribune on January 1st, and maybe you saw it. What we do as Friends of the Zoo entails a lot of things, from buying animals to all sorts of things that we do out there. And then the county, of course, does their job. What we do, though, we depend on donations. So we felt that if the zoo was going to charge admission, then nobody was going to donate. And with the money going to the general fund, it was going to sort of disappear, and we wouldn't be able to do what we do for the zoo, and that part would disappear. So this has been a long introduction, but basically, where do you stand right now on charging admission at the zoo?
We just had that discussion today. We had a discussion last week. I've been getting a lot of feedback on that. It's interesting, but after I said, hey, we're going to suspend this, I had I'd say almost close to 100 comments, and about 80% was like, these are locals, right? They said, hey, we don't mind paying at the zoo. It's on free zoo. It's been free. Everybody else pays, every other island and every place that we know. So I was like, oh, I was surprised by that. Like, okay, then I was trying to, make things easier for you guys, but then, something reasonable. So I took it back to the team and I said, it seems like if it's reasonable, then maybe we can charge at the zoo. But you bring up a good point, because if you're friends of the zoo, like surviving by donations, and people are paying at the zoo, then you might not get their donation. That's a good point. I didn't think about that. Let me turn. That's why I have a Parks and Recreation Director, Clayton. What's your thoughts?
That's a great question as well too. And again, like Mayor Kimo just said, we had the discussion just today in regards to the zoo fees, right? So in our discussions, we are going to charge at the zoo. We're going to have some discussions. However, the fees are going to be not what was discussed earlier. We have a new fee schedule that's going to come out. That's going to be friendlier to locals over here. In fact, it's going to improve what was originally discussed earlier. And we're just going to finalize this fees by this Friday's meeting that we have with Mayor Kimo and our managing director here from our office. And then from there, we're probably going to a public hearing again in regards to some other rules and the fee changes that we'll be presenting. So that's kind of where we stand right now in regards to the fees that we're planning to charge.
Just so you know, like for me, it's like keiki kupuna should be free. Locals should be as economically feasible as possible. So free is as economically feasible as possible. But that we was going to look at a charge for the tourists. So I don't know if you're getting donations mostly from the tourists or from the locals. I'm not sure, but we are considering both. Okay. So when we come up with the final decision, we'll have a public hearing. We'll put the notice out early so you guys can come, share your concerns, and we can go from there. Maybe? Well, I don't know. I'm not sure. It goes to a general fund.
General fund.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
the general fund actually funds the zoo as well, too, that we receive funding for our budget to run the zoo as well, too. So we get it from both sides, the help in funding what goes on in the zoo. And there's no contributions coming in from the zoo to help fund itself. So we got to start somewhere.
Yeah, and I grew up going to the zoo, so we can work together and see how we can improve it. I know you guys doing a really good job over there, so thank you. Yes.
The structure right now is the Friends of the Zoo are basically a 501c3.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to go through procurement to get an animal.
Mm.
They don't have to go through procurement to get the vet food paid. The money goes towards all of that.
Mm.
We don't go to the county to ask for the money. And it's working. The system is working. Why fix it?
Okay. All right, so the comment was the system is working, so why fix it? According to some of your comments, I don't know if it's working or not. So we gotta let us investigate, let us talk stories, let us learn more about it, because there are good points on both sides.
Yeah, we can discuss this after this meeting. Yeah. We can have some discussion.
Back there. Oh, go. Question or statement? Okay, here, go. You can say them loud enough.
This is for Mass Transit. I represent individuals with ID and DD, intellectual and/or developmental disabilities. When will it be possible for paratransit to pick up our participants on the weekends?
Go ahead, Matt.
This is Zach Berg of Mass Transit. So right now, one thing that we're working through right now is vans. Currently, we have 7 paratransit vans, and most of these vans run about 50,000 miles per year. And they've only been in operation for going on 2 years, the 7 that we have. And so you can imagine with 50,000 miles per year for each one, we're losing transmissions all the time. So, and that's something that we're all facing right now with all 7 of them. And then in addition to that, we're looking at procuring 9. So we have 9 on the way that we've ordered, and that'll be the help, right? So Thank you for that. I don't have an answer on when that will be, if we're going to be able to do that on the weekends or when exactly to give you a date. But what I can tell you is we're working in the right direction where we need to be going to provide more service.
It's a great service, and they're all very, very grateful. Just a weekend.
I'm totally with you. Thank you for that input, though. I appreciate that. Mahalo.
Thank you, Sandy. How about you, Odetta?
Hi, I just have a question regarding notification to the public regarding public meetings. Not everyone carries a Tribune Herald. Not everyone has public access to the internet. And so is there a way that everyone can be notified in a better way, such as yours, how you were notified today, for the public to see? Because when I go to the planning meeting, sometimes you have 12 people there. And also the times. If you want people who come off of work, we should have something like this venue where you have your meetings and people can speak up. We have a concern regarding the roundabout downtown and how the staff or how the public has been notified, which they haven't. In the Tribune Herald, the notices are very small and people don't know about it. So we just need to get the public more involved and get notices out to everyone in a better fashion.
I like that. Thank you. So, no question, just get those notices out. Okay, get those notices out. You know, I know by law, I think we got to put them in the newspaper, but maybe we have other ways of putting it out, Instagram, Facebook. Our Corp Counsel, Renee, you have any thoughts on that? As far as the law is concerned?
Well, I guess it really depends on the type of meeting it is. So some meetings you do have to post by publication. And I know that for county council meetings, they do post on the internet. So I think we can work something out where, other notices provided via maybe the mayor's, Facebook or social media accounts, just so that everybody else can have more awareness.
That's awesome. Yeah, look at tonight. We have a great turnout. That's awesome. Okay, we're on this side. No, you cannot ask two questions unless everybody gets a chance to ask one. Back here. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. My name is Kim, and I'm the Executive Director of Kalama PE Play School. And under the last mayoral administration, the County of Hawaii received an unprecedented amount of funding for early childhood education, specifically for Hawaii Island. My question, knowing that this is a new team, can you talk about some of the conversations regarding early childhood education? I think there's a lot good in place, and I know we need a lot more help, and I was wondering what that is sounding like on your team.
Okay. That's a great question, Kim. Thank you for that. So as a father of 7, those are the years that parents need help, and so I was in those discussions. I had a kind of like a Zoom meeting with early childhood advocates, and they asked about, something like about in the previous administration, there were like these ARPA funds. I think it was like 10 million, I'm not sure, but something should have been 14 million, and then we have in R&D, we have an office, it's Office of Childhood Development, Early Childhood Development, and Angela Thomas is kind of like the overseer. She has like 1 staff, I think. Okay, so, and then, Sylvia Luke, our lieutenant governor, is a big champion of early childhood care, so preschool and all. So I thought it was a good move for the county to at least, with the 2 years of funding, or I don't know if it was more than that, but to at least try to make it happen. So gonna ask our finance director what's the scoops on that, so.
Sure, Diana Kagawa, Finance. Nice to see you. Thank you for your comments. Definitely heard that early childhood programs are very important to the community as we're going through looking at ways that ARPA funds can be spent. We brought forward a plan. And unfortunately, at the end, we went through this process of procurement. Federal funds, we have to go through a very transparent and competitive process, and through that, a little less of the funding for early childhood was going on to these contracts. Benson maybe can talk about what those programs are, but those are all under contract now, and all those federal funds were expended and are under contract.
Thank you. So this administration has made a commitment to early childhood education. We did receive some substantial funds through the ARPA grants. We have projects now. We're just starting a project out in Pahoa. We are looking at actually putting together early childhood education centers around where large employers are. Like some of our biggest employers are on the west side in the hotels. So we've had conversations with them about setting up daycares out in that area. Of course, our fastest growing area is out in Pahoa. So we're working with the team there to basically train teachers or facilitators that can work with young people. We also have a early childhood book program out now where we're sending these age-appropriate books to all of the physicians across the island. So when a youngster goes to the doctor as early as 2 years old, they get a little book for their age group where they can start reading right away. So we're fortunate to have Angela Thomas head up our program. She's basically well-known throughout the state. Good contacts in Honolulu. Our lieutenant governor, who's a big proponent of that program, has come to support us. So we're picking up some momentum in this, and I think with the administration's commitment to support it, it only can grow because we see this as kind of the root thing to make us all grow. So to get that going. Okay.
And it's just a personal note. So my daughter is a child care provider. And so she calls it a learning center. But it's, for parents who work. So we even had a discussion with our HR, so our HR task force, we had a discussion of, how can we get recruitment, problems. It's hard to recruit. But I tell you what, if the county offers child care, I guarantee you that would be an attractive incentive. Yeah. Right. Yeah, Kauai. So Kauai has a template. So they used ARPA funds. I don't know how long ago, but that's why I said it's like a 2-year thing, and then those funds run out. So we'll see how it all plays out. I wouldn't mind exploring that for our county. So great question. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. For the younger adults, we have our summer program and our schools. So when it comes to this, it's kind of like state, yeah. Like I feel like the state got to step up, right? They got to have better after-school programs, better summer programs. But our county, we provide a pretty good summer program for young adults, from school age. So you want to look out for that. Oh yeah, that was my saving grace. Is send those kids to summer fun, give you guys a break. Okay, Christine, go ahead.
Aloha, my name is Christine Kubat. I'm the Executive Director of Recycle Hawaii. I'll just start out by saying our organization is 100% opposed to the plastic recycling plant, FYI. My concern is about how casually the county and other agencies use plastic in the form of AstroTurf, plastic playground equipment. I don't know, is there anybody in the county that's tracking this issue? Because it's very concerning. As these things sit out in the sun, they degrade into micro and nanoplastics. Kids are playing on this AstroTurf. They're ingesting it. I don't know if you know, but they're finding microplastic and nanoplastic pollution in amniotic fluid. So the sacred place that God protected for the creation of human life is now invaded by microplastics. Babies are being born pre-polluted. So we have a real obligation to protect our kids. And then, again, in early childhood development, these centers, are there plans to put synthetic turf on the ground? Are there plans to have plastic playground equipment? Those are my concerns.
Great concerns. Those are great concerns. And that's Laura's concerns as well, and it should be all of ours. So thank you for that. Going back to this side, yes.
My name is Julie, and I'm going to ask that tough question. What are we doing to protect our kikis from sex trafficking?
Thank you. We have a lot of advocates in here for sex trafficking. Chief, okay.
So this is a difficult question to answer because when we look at the number of investigations for sex trafficking our department currently has open, the number is 0, which means that we're not being told. I can do absolutely nothing without your help. If you know of something, you need to report it. You'll get a police report number. We'll start an investigation. But and I only know this because we just made a bunch of comments for a human trafficking, sex trafficking story the other day. So I this week looked into how many open sex trafficking or human trafficking investigations we have, and the answer is 0. So we need people to report things. If you know things, report them to us. We'd be happy to look into it. That's about as good as I can get you. I can't even comment on things that are ongoing because there are none. On that note, and since Kimo gave me the microphone, I'm gonna scoot back just a little bit. We're right in the middle of our public survey. Every 2 years we do a public survey. You can go to our website at hawaiipolice.gov. It takes about 10 minutes. It's completely anonymous, and all the feedback that you get, that we get, is gonna get turned around after the survey closes and shared back with the public. So if there are questions or concerns or things that you don't wanna raise your hand and identify yourself or things that you know about, the survey is a great way to give us that feedback. The other thing is there is a place on our newly designed website that you can submit tips. If you don't want to raise your hand, you don't want to say, hey, I know something, but you know something, then send it in through our website anonymously. And even without a complainant, we can look into things. In terms of priority, right? I mean, ultimately, the best possible outcome is for us to do a criminal investigation and identify a suspect and make an arrest and convict someone. But I realize that, for human trafficking kind of cases, that's not always possible because of the cycle of violence and the cycle of abuse. Even if we as the police department can play some role in getting people out of that cycle, and we can help save people, even without cases that result in prosecution and arrest, that's fine too. But again, I need information about these kinds of cases, what you're talking about, so that we can look into it and get you some better answers.
What's the website, real quick?
HawaiiPolice.gov.
Oh, HawaiiPolice.gov. Okay, Ben has a question. Statement or question?
Question and suggestion. Hello, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ben Dalavedo. I'm U.S. Navy retired, and I have a concern about the bus there picking these people working at Waikōloa, and there's no shed and there's no light. In Papaiku, in Pepeʻekeo, they have lights, there are plenty of lights. But on waiting shed, if it rains, they get wet and they get sick. I got all the names who are waiting for the bus over there, and that's one issue. Another issue, I just picked up my girlfriend today. This is the 3rd time I have to pick her up at the middle of the mountain, at the restroom over there, if you are aware with that place, and the bus is dead. Something is wrong with the air conditioning or heater, or it's the 3rd time I have to pick her up in order so she doesn't have to wait there for hours for the rescue bus to take them back here in Hilo. So this is my concern about the maintenance of the bus. That issue should not be done, should not be like that. So that's my concern, because these people are working hard. Imagine working for 8 hours every day. They have to take 2 hours bus to go to work and 2 hours back to their house here in Hilo. And you're gonna get stuck there for another hour or 2? Hallelujah. I'm sorry, but that's my very, very big concern. This is my 3rd time. That's why I'm late. I miss all the first issue that you have around here. But I know, I got a lot of issue around. But we need to take care of it one at a time in a proper way. And this is one thing I'm very concerned, because it's the 3rd time. She's tired, I'm tired, everybody's worked hard. But anyway, that's my concern. And I'm here to work for my mayor.
Okay, thank you, Ben. So we need bus stops, and we got to fix the bus. So, bus maintenance and all like that. So I appreciate you, Ben, on that. How we say, ay sos Maria. Oh, muy bien, okay.
So I have a comment and also a question. I am a family advocate here in Hilo. I'm one of very few, actually, that work with families that encounter child welfare. I can attest to investigating the case that Sam Ingram just talked about, and I can confirm that there was evidence that the mother was a prostitute in that particular case. Along with another plethora of just information that I have been privileged to view as these parents have come forward. When we talk about the child trafficking issue here on the state of Hawaii, I've made numerous reports to our public, our police department. And last year I actually came to the police department with 6 different parents, all attesting that their children have been trafficked by Child Family Services. Along with the documents that I have about 1,000 or more pages of substantial evidence showcasing that they have been trafficking Hawaii's children, as well as that being backed by 2 professionals, 2 doctors in the field, one a forensic social worker, another a forensic psychologist that have been privileged to this particular information happening in our community. So when I hear you say that no cases have come forward, and I would like to talk to you after this, but that is a lie. There's been numerous cases of children being harmed, either through engagement with child welfare services and through the engagement of child family services. So it goes back, way back, over 100 years in regards to our history to understand the complexity involved in the trafficking of children. My question to you is that, being that this information has been brought forward, is there any action that's happening by the police department, or are you open to investigate Child Family Services as a service provider for child welfare services and actually look at the evidence that I have viewed? And I can tell you that there is evidence that these children have been abused. I've seen it for myself. And so I would like to know if you're open to investigating these particular claims, because I think that they warrant investigation. And I can tell you this is that Chief Benjamin, he ended up submitting a letter to us stating that they found nothing, yet no investigation actually happened. And that is something that I can also prove because I investigated these particular cases, and I can tell you that there is substantial evidence. So are you open to investigating Child and Family Services for trafficking Hawaii's children for over 100 years? I have the information, I can share it with you.
Thank you, Josh.
Of course, we're absolutely open. Come see me after. We'll set up a meeting. You can bring in whatever information you have, and I'd be happy to talk to you about it. All right?
Okay, working our way down this side. We got about 15 minutes more before we open it up. You guys know more like civil defense questions or planning? What about our water guy over here? No, go ahead. Jonathan.
Sure. Hey, how's it going? My name is Jonathan. I just had a question about animal control. So in terms of there's a lot of rescues operating on the island, and just in terms of how animal control is engaging with the rescues, how are we hoping to move forward? I know there have been issues in the past, like conflict between animal control and rescues in terms of getting animals out of the animal control shelter and into shelters where they can move into homes. So just curious where that's going now. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan. That was a great question. Matt?
Well, I can tell you from the get-go, we have tried to work with as many organizations as possible on the island. We've set up MOUs with some of those organizations to try to make sure that we have clear direction and clear movement of our animals. Our shelters right now aren't in the best conditions. We have improvement projects that are in the works to make them better and more accessible to the public. But in the process, it closes off our shelters to the public. But what we're trying to do is get those animals out, even with that closure to the public. And by doing that, we are utilizing those organizations to move those animals out to adoptions and to try. We've even flown animals off the island to try to get them out of our shelters and back to the owners too. So those organizations are prized by us because we value their input, we value their ability to assess our animals, It allows the county to focus on getting animals off the street, taking in surrenders, making sure that the process is continuing no matter what, while they focus on the adoption process. And for them, it's a win-win. We focus on the field services, they focus on the adoption process, and they don't have to worry about an animal, taking in an animal, processing it, and making sure that it's healthy. We do that for them, and then they can come back and assess the animal at a later date. And so for the county, it is a really good process, and it's a model that we are choosing to go forward with. Even once we have our facilities renovated and improved, we'll still be going with the same process because it really helps those organizations grow, and it helps us to focus on what we need to.
And if you have ideas for animal control, like I said, after is a good time to share your ideas. We have, our task force is growing on animal control because the goats and pigs, it's kind of like we have a game management committee, and commission, and so they get all kind of ideas. The hunters get ideas, and then it's kind of like when it's one group, and then the cats is kind of like one group, and then the dogs is like another group. So it's like very complex, right? And then now get mongooses. So I don't know. But let me try. They go back here, middle section. Okay, we're coming back this side. There you go. Yes. State your name and your question.
Joanne, I just have a comment for those of us that traverse Waianui back and forth, and we're passing the hospital. So if we're going past the hospital, going up the hill, the hospital has a side on the right-hand side, so you can press a button if you're going to cross, and the blinking lights will go on. Okay. Not many people do that, like when they're crossing, but there's a sign on the right-hand side. It's white, and I don't know what it says, Hilo Medical Center or Benioff or whatever, but that sign blocks everyone that's coming out of the hospital and trying to cross back into the parking lot. So all you see are little legs or feet. You have to be very careful and check to see no one's, because sometimes they just cross and they don't press those. And then there's always that traffic jam with the urgent care. And it's just like all tied up every day. Are they?
Our hospital, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right. The construction is and it's growing because they're expanding, yeah. So that's a concern. So I gotta go ask my friend over here, Mr. Neil Azevedo. Any thoughts on the situation?
Sorry, I didn't see those signs. I'll go look tonight, and I'll let you know.
And he will look tonight. There's this guy, Neil Azevedo, everybody. He said he gonna look, okay? In just a short time we've been here, he's helped us with so many projects. I mean, he's a man of few words, but boy, action all the time. So he'll definitely look at it. Okay, we're jumping back to this side. I'll go back here.
My name is Elsie, and I would like to know what happened to the lights at Carvalho Park. They used to have a lot of baseball leagues there, and they cannot practice because there's no lights at night.
Yeah, that was my park. That's where I had all my practices and everything. So yeah, I didn't know. Wow.
Yeah, me too. So we're going to take a look at that actually, in regards to the lights at Carvalho Park. That is something that is a concern. It's been a long time since it's been shut off. So we're going to take a look into that. But that's a well-used park, out there. We have had light concerns up in Kohala and out in Nalehu and Pahala, but this is the first that I'm hearing about Carvalho Park.
So Kohala just got their lights, so they're really happy. That was it's hard to fix those lights, so that might take some time. But what else questions you get?
There were a lot of leagues that used to practice there.
Yes.
And they can't practice anymore.
Yeah.
So when they go to Honolulu, they lose because they haven't been
Oh, no wonder. Oh, that's why we lose. Shucks, I thought we was just junk, but no. Okay, so we don't practice, that's why. Okay. Oh man, hey, that's some good one. So wait, I got 1, 2, 3, and then get 4 back here, way back here. So come. Okay.
Hi, thank you. My name is Loki Davis. I have a follow-up question for the gentleman regarding child and sexual trafficking. I I find it unacceptable to say that you are unable to do anything right now because you have no open cases. And I understand that you require the public to report, but it sounds like that has happened. And so I guess, my question for you is, what will you actively do aside from a private conversation with this man? What will you do in order to follow up on that? And my question for you, Mayor, is how will you hold him and his department accountable? Thank you.
Thank you, Loke. Yeah, well, this has come up several times since I've been the mayor. And we had a couple agencies, nonprofits, has come in and has talked about sex trafficking. They talked to Parks and Recreation. We're going to have events on it, so it's education, right? So there's a lot of education, number one, because we need to know it's happening and how we can intervene. So I'm a big supporter of that. I need to learn more about the prosecuting side and how that plays out. So I'll be having a talk story with our chief, and that's why these meetings are important, because I get to hear from you folks what the concerns you have and what matters, and so that helps us. That helps us be better. Thank you, Loke. Okay.
Aloha, my name is Jeannie, and I've lived in Sunrise Ridge for 9 years now. And we have a dangerous traffic light or non-light, a road intersection problem. 7 years ago, I talked to Mayor Kim about it. I talked to Mayor Mitch about it. And now I'd like to know if anything is going to happen about the intersection of Kea'au and Mo'ohana. There is I believe the speed limit is 45, and where Kea'au crosses Komohana, the traffic is dense, and the traffic trying to cross or turn from Kea'au is very difficult, and I understand there also have been accidents. So my board of the Homeowners Association says they've also been in contact with city roads about this too, but we haven't seen anything. And we've been told that the traffic needs to go that fast in order to get to work or whatever, to make that transit. However, because it is so dense, it's also dangerous. And it would be nice to either have a four-way stop there, which is also on Komohana, so one does exist in another location out close to Hale. And I'm sorry. And or a stop sign or something, a light, something. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's good. So I live in that area too, so I know what you're talking about. And so there's another request too. So if you go on Wilder, like if you go up, Kaumana Road and then you go Wilder, some guys are just going like right across. But there's some big stop signs. So I thought that when they was complaining about it, I thought, there's no stop sign. So I'm thinking, but right. Yeah, so kind of like something, right? So, but drivers got to also be aware. Like you see the stop sign, but people don't see the stop sign. So but then so a blinking light maybe or something. Okay, I got you. Would be nice if we just see the stop sign, but I guess not. Yeah. Somebody had a question this side. Going back this side. Sorry. Go ahead. Change the subject. Okay, go.
Mr. Azevedo.
Okay, go.
We've had many conversations about that speed humps on Lelehua, which is a dead end, and the subdivision now is Upper Lelehua and Lower Lelehua, and there's conflict. I feel, that's just me, that the gas tax was primarily made for road improvements or road paving or, that kind of things, but not for speed humps in a small little subdivision. And some of us are still wondering, and some of us, like me, are hoping it's not coming because we live at the bottom half and it's a turntable. So they have to slow down. And I've told you, I can see them putting the speed humps in the beginning, but not at the tail end, because it makes no sense.
So speed bumps, let me just say about speed bumps. So the first time I went down Wainui, nobody told me I had on speed bump. So I was going down because I take my kids to school, right, Hilo High School, and I went. But luckily there was one speed table, because it was the old-fashioned speed bump, which is about this, this high, and that would have probably, damaged my vehicle. So they get these speed tables now, and it's interesting because people request them. Like half of the community like them, and the other half don't like them. So that's a tough question, that right there. In fact, even emergency folks kind of nervous about them too, because it slows them down, to get to the hospital. And like if you go Waikīoka, you go on the backside, get like every 20 feet get. But so we're just responding to you folks, right? So I don't know, junkin' pole,
So pretty much 70% of the residents there wanted the speed humps. So we can go back and check it out again, make sure. If it's not there, we'll take it away. But if it is, we got to get your residents again. We got to do one more petition and see what goes. Then from there we see.
So use the 30%. So sorry. So, oh man. Well, we're at the half-hour mark. I wanted to give you guys time. Not everybody feel comfortable just talking on the mic and in front of other people. So we wanted to leave you half an hour to just talk to whoever of these directors you want. Please help yourself with whatever goodies get over there. And I'd like to give a shout out for our fentanyl task force. Thank you so much for being here. They got, every house should have a box of Narcan. Because if painkillers, all of that can, sometimes you forget your first dose, you take your second one, all of a sudden, you're sleeping and you might not get up. So that will help you reverse an overdose. And then we got some county flyers there. And so I have to give a big shout out to our county staff for putting all this together. Thank you so much. I also like to thank, this is a tough thing, right? To come out in front of the public, and you don't know what kind of questions you're gonna get, but we owe it to you folks. I mean, that's what we signed up for, and so maybe our questions or our answers doesn't resonate with you, or maybe we agree to disagree. But it's very important to have civil conversation back and forth, and I'm so thankful that the conversation from you folks, the questions you asked, was very respectful. It was direct. You wasn't holding back. I like that. But yet it was respectful, and you have concerns, and I like that too. So we're gonna just let you guys hang out. I'll be here, and we'll be here for another half hour, and then we'll start to close up. Did I miss any other county council member? Okay, we're good. I'd like to thank our county council members for being here. Thank you for being here. Now let's just talk out and hang out. Bill?
Hey, again, thank you very much for attending tonight's event. Let's give a hand to Mayor Kimo Alameda, our new mayor here. Everybody's here because of him. We all owe it to him, so thank you very much. Tonight, so what we're gonna do is the next 30 minutes, we're gonna have an open talk story session. You can approach any of the county administrative personnel and ask questions and talk story, but just be mindful that get plenty of people, so don't hog all the time. And then in the back here, there's also hot dogs and popcorn for you to enjoy. So we'll go to 7 o'clock, and then we'll kind of wrap it up from there. Again, thank you very much.